25 years, a quarter of a century, that's how long the Honda City has been around in India. It stood strong in the face of an SUV avalanche that's happening right now, and it even managed to stand strong when we went through a diesel wave in the previous 2 decades. In fact, I remember at that time when petrol prices were at an all-time high, Honda was still able to move 3,000 units of the city. Quite a feat then. Well, to keep the city relevant and bring it into the new age, Honda has launched this. It's the City HEV, and it's a hybrid version of the car that was launched in India in May of this year. When the car was launched, we had a chance to sample it. Now, we've had some more time with the car and got to test it and examine it inside out. And here then are 5 reasons why you should consider the Honda City HEV as your next car, and 2 reasons why you should reconsider. Are you enjoying the content on our channel? Then do hit those like, share and subscribe buttons, and also hit that bell icon to be notified the instant we put out a new video. The Honda City Hybrid, or eHEV as it is officially called, is offered in one fully loaded trim, which at the time of doing this video was priced at Rs 19.89 lakh ex showroom tally. Its equivalent in the ICE lineup is the ZX Petrol CVT, which is priced at Rs 15.32 lakh. The powertrain on offer is a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine mated to 2 electric motors, producing a total of 125 bhp and 253 Nm of torque, and is mated to an eCVT single-speed transmission. We have detailed how the setup works in our first look of the Honda City eHEV, and you can find a link to the video in the description below. Now, the benefit of having a car with a powertrain setup like this is actually twofold. The first is an incredible efficiency figure, which the company claims is 26.5 kmpl, which when combined with a 40 litre fuel tank that's standard across the city range, you get a theoretical range of 1060 kilometers. In comparison, the standard city CVT petrol has an efficiency figure of 18.4 kmpl, which when combined with the 40 litre tank gives you a range of 736 kilometers. You can clearly see the difference, right? That's well over 300 kilometers. In our real world test, we got 22 kmpl in the city and 25.9 kmpl on the highway, giving us an average of 22.97 kmpl, and this combined with the 40 litre tank gave us a tank to tank mileage of 919 km, putting us just 141 km behind what Honda claims. At Rs 106 a litre, you would get a running cost of Rs 4.6 per kilometer, which is 99 paise lesser than the 5.76 that one would get driving the city ZX CVT petrol. This may not seem like a large amount, but added up does go a long way. Now, we haven't considered the diesel simply because there is no automatic for the diesel powered city. But if you were to do the calculations based on the 24.1 kmpl that Honda claims, you would get a range of 964 km and a running cost of Rs 4.3 per kilometer. The second benefit is that I'll be scoring some green credentials, as I won't have to stop and fuel up so often, and in a polluted road among cars, I'll be polluting way less than everyone else. While battery electric vehicles are definitely the future, this is a good way for India to start its electrification journey. Now, the Honda City in this eHEV, guys, brings some new elements to the driving experience, but at the same time feels very familiar, especially to those who have driven the Honda City before. The hybrid setup adds 120 kgs to the overall weight, but that's not really affected the driving experience. The electric motors in combination with the petrol engine actually provides a really punchy driving experience, but the steering is slow to respond and lacks feel, especially in the dead ahead position. We would have liked more feel from the steering, especially given the punchy nature of the powertrain. Now, adding to your new age driving experience are the functions of these paddles behind the steering wheel. Now, in your standard IC engine vehicle, they are used to change gears, but here they help in controlling the regen. Now, the minus increases the regen while the plus decreases the regen. At the highest setting, the minus regen is pretty intrusive and actually will allow you to drive the car as a one pedal setup, and I can vouch for that because while we were shooting the car this morning, I was using the minus paddle just to accelerate and retard the car. The regen function can actually be pretty addictive because, as the name suggests, it's regeneration. You're essentially putting charge back in the battery, which helps the vehicle to go, right? And the thing is that once you start seeing that charge is coming back into the battery, you'll start using it regularly. So one word of caution: the first few times it's pretty hard to judge how effective the regen is to a vehicle. Once you're able to make a judgment of distances, that's when you should use it regularly. Otherwise, treat it with a bit of caution initially. If you are a Honda City HEV owner, do let us know in the comment section below how much of charge you were able to bring back to the battery using the regen function. One of the pros that not just for the City HEV but actually the Honda City range is ride quality. Now it gets the same suspension setup as the standard car, that you get a torsion beam set up at the rear, McPherson struts at front, and it rides actually very nicely, taking most ruts and potholes and speed breakers with a decent aplomb, and the car settles also quickly without sending much back to the occupants. It does have an issue of slightly low ground clearance, something that we should be able to address later, and for that you have to be cautious, especially if the pothole or rut is really deep, because you might tend to scrape the battery pack underneath. One of the new things that Honda has added to the City's kitty is an ADAS suite called Honda Sensing. It includes collision mitigation braking, road departure mitigation system, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, and auto high beam function. Of all of these, the adaptive cruise control works quite well in recognizing objects the size of tipper lorries all the way to scooters that don't have functional brake lights. In all the time that I've spent with the car, it is easy to see that on our roads, a lot of the time, driving is micromanaging to compensate for various external factors, some predictable and some not so much. The ability of the cruise control and lane keep assist to take over that micromanaging is a welcome change. It allows you to focus on the bigger picture, but at the same time, be fully available when you need to take complete control of the situation. The road departure mitigation system is very effective in pulling you back on track if you veer out of your lane, but will switch off for 2 minutes if you go off track in succession. ADAS systems have now started filtering their way into this part of the market, and the City joins a growing list of models. Let's put it this way: if more cars have these systems, then there's going to be an improvement in terms of road safety. One of the things we think works in favor of the Honda City and obviously the City HEV is cabin space and ergonomics. Over each successive generation, Honda has grown the City in terms of length. This one is no different. It's 149 mm longer than the 4th generation car, though the wheelbase has stayed the same at 2600 mm. That added length seems to have come more in the back, which we'll address soon. Up here in front, you get more than enough shoulder room, knee room and headroom. That's despite a sunroof for 2 occupants. In terms of ergonomics, everything is easy to reach. There are more than enough cubby holes and there are large chunky buttons everywhere, so it's easy for you to develop muscle memory to remember where everything is. Continuing on our breakdown of cabin space and ergonomics, we are here in the second row of the Honda City HEV, and it's actually quite a nice place to be in. The driver's seat is set in my driving position, and I still get a good amount of knee room, a good amount of headroom and shoulder room for actually 3 people to sit, though the central occupant will be a bit shortchanged due to the air vents and that this material is slightly higher. The floor is higher than the normal car simply because there's a battery pack underneath, but you're not short of space. Some features here include air vents, 12-volt sockets down here, 2 of them for both occupants, and 1-liter bottle holders in both the doors. And of course, you get a center armrest with 2 cup holders. The City HEV might be a fully loaded City, but it is still missing some feel-good features like wireless charging, ventilated seats, rear USB and a 360-degree camera. We would have liked a fully digital instrument cluster, though on the side where you would normally get the tachometer, there's a color screen that gives you info of the hybrid system and ADAS functions. Oddly, you can't see the same thing on the infotainment system, which is actually a bigger screen. In our pros section, we spoke about cabin space and ergonomics, which is a positive for the car, and all that is very good. But where we feel Honda could have put in more effort and should put in more effort in future is the quality of plastics used. It feels like a whole segment down, especially when you're charging almost 22 lakh rupees for this car. This is very evident on the dashboard, here on the rear AC vent, as well as in the center console. Another two grouses that we had with the car, one is this white upholstery, which looks really nice and gives the car a premium appeal, but in a country like India, it's going to be very hard to maintain and will get soiled very quickly in places that you can't even imagine. The second is that there are no adjustable headrests for the second row. You get 3 headrests, which is very good, but none of them are adjustable. So there you have it, 5 things that we liked about the Honda City HEV and 2 things that we think Honda could work on with the car. For all the details, do visit our website carwale.com. Also, what do you think of the Honda City HEV? Do leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.